Hello, this is Virtual the Chess Noob, learning and having fun with chess. Chess is a game of balance and a game of tension. When we make an attack with a piece, we simultaneously place that piece at risk. Risk and opportunity are two sides of the same coin. If we castle on the same side, pushing the pawns in front of our king to launch an attack on the opponent's king weakens our king's defense. This is often worse for the aggressive player. So a potential strategy is to castle to the opposite side so that we can launch pawns not rostered for the king's defense to attack. The risk, of course, is that the opponent can do the same to us. However, in the right setting, such as this game, this strategy can create a powerful attack on the king. Please enjoy! So let's have a quick look at the review, chess.com's algorithm, and I played fairly well in this game, approaching 90% accuracy, though we were very balanced for much of the game, but then a mistake and a blunder on the part of the opponent led to me having the win. Otherwise, reasonably similar number of good moves, reasonable levels of inaccuracies, though the opponent had a blunder, which made a difference at the end. Let's move on now to the analysis. Okay, I played with the white pieces, opponent black. I, as usual, lead with e4, and they played the Sicilian Defense with c5. And as typical against a Sicilian, I play knight c3, and then f4, the beginning of the Grand Prix attack. The opponent plays d6, and the next idea of the Grand Prix is to develop the bishop, so bishop to c4, or potentially to b5 can be good as well, pinning that knight to the king. And if necessary, trading that knight for the bishop is often good in the Grand Prix. Opponent plays e6, I develop my other knight f3, opponent plays knight f6, and here I thought, look, I normally would play d3 to have a diagonal, but I thought, why not? Let's try to take the full center with 3 pawns. Apparently that's not as good as d3, so that would have been equal. I've actually ceded a little bit of advantage to black. The opponent plays d5, I capture, they capture back, and here I play bishop b5, potentially looking to trade, and that's what I do. And the opponent's pawn structure here is a little bit ugly. I now play queen e2 with check. They block with queen e7. Happy to trade queens at this point, so queenless middle game. I opted here to play h3, which was apparently not a good move, but my logic here was that I didn't want the bishop or knight going to g4. So apparently e3 here was best, as I suppose that is a threat. Opponent plays a5. Here I do play bishop e3, looking at potentially castling queenside. Opponent plays bishop f5, which makes this make even more sense given the threat on the c2 pawn. Opponent now plays c4, which I suppose closes the center, which I think is not bad for me actually. And as you can see, we're getting pretty equal again. I play g4 with a sort of attack on that bishop. They move forward, which makes sense. Now rook f1, so bringing the rook to the f-file, taking it out of that potential attack and also defending that knight. Opponent now plays a4, decide to sort of push that, don't want that pawn moving any further forward. Opponent captures the knight anyway, and I capture back with rook. Opponent plays knight d7. And here, I thought, look, these pawns already moved forward. Let's try to continue to advance these forward. Opponent plays f6, I play h4, very equal. And here, the opponent, I think, makes a mistake. So they do short castles. However, these pawns are already being pushed forward and they're going to continue pushing forward. I've got these attackers here. Potentially this other rook can come for the attack as well. Now the opponent does have some queenside pawns ahead, but no pawn here. These pawns are a bit ugly, doubled up. So this I thought was better for me. And if you look at Stockfish, it agrees. So if they played b6, they would have been completely equal. And now I'm substantially ahead. So 2.3 plus 2.3. So I played g5, which apparently was not the best move, but that's okay. Capture. They capture back, and now bishop here. And I thought this was potentially fairly powerful. Forced to capture, I capture back. Now, the most logical move, I think, for them is to capture like that. However, they make the wrong sequence, and so then they straight up lose a piece. They make one more move and then sort of opt to resign. And here I'm a plus 8.88, so 888, very auspicious number from a Chinese numerology perspective. But here I've still got my pair of rooks. They only have one rook and one knight, still have a knight. These pawns look a bit ugly. These pawns are looking good. This is definitely a winning position for me. And so, yeah, makes sense for the opponent to resign here. So good game, GG. The opponent's strategic mistake in this game was that they chose to castle kingside when I had already advanced my pawns on that side into the field of battle. Comparatively, their pawns on the queen side were less well organised. They had no pawn on the b file and had double pawns on the c file. Coordinating my kingside pawns with my rook and bishop resulted in more attackers than defenders, with a transformation to an undoubtedly winning endgame for me. I hope you enjoyed this video, and thanks for watching.